Right. So with the recent state of Honkai Star Rail not being too enjoyable with, HP inflation, power creep, all that nonsense, there are obviously a lot of people going around complaining. And it is justified in my opinion. There's no amount of strategic planning for your pools is gonna save you at the rate that the difficulty is rising. But one comparison that has been coming up would be one comparing the current state of of Honkai Star Rail to Honkai Impact. As in that game as well, with every version comes a new character and a boss that is tailored for said new character. Now with Honkai Impact Part 2 having been released for more than a year now, I like to just say that I disagree with this as the comparison is not very accurate, right? Yeah, so the first thing to address would be the part 1 versus the part 2 character power difference, right? So Honkai Impact Part 2 introduced the Astral Ring mechanic, which is basically a boost for the character, where from my experience, most of the damage is gonna be coming from, right? So, and part 1 characters do not have this function, so just by having a mechanic that dramatically boosts the character's damage basically makes choosing a part 2 Velk the obvious choice. Right, initially this was a bit jarring with the start of part 2 having a huge power jump from the previous parts limited characters, but now that a year has passed and there have been many other part 2 characters released, I believe that it is still a little bit silly to still be complaining about it. Right, the second thing would be the fact that the belief that you need to pull for every single new character, much like how Honkai Star Rail is currently perceived to be, right? Now, I'd like to just say that as a person who has not been too invested in Honkai Impact as of late, I might be wrong with what I'm about to say, but personally, I believe that the game is still completely playable, even without pulling every single new character. And it's not like it's difficult either, right? Right, I've pulled Senna, Dilemma, Songtre, Vita, and Lantern being the newest addition from the Carnival pools, which by the way, took everything, 60 pools on the drain, they may go to 60 PT, I want to cry. But yeah, I mean, even then, with these characters that I pull, I mostly just spam the Senadina team with Corley and Helia, who does not have her weapon by the way, and both of them, both previously mentioned, are quote-unquote 4 stars. Right, well, and we've only very rarely with some weather causing me to use a dilemma, and even extremely rarely when the physical weather comes about I sometimes use Songtre, but even then I still usually stick with just using the Senadina team. Now, this might just be due to the fact that I rarely play the bosses in the Abyss, but I just don't find the rewards worth the effort, and again, it's not like I can't do it, it's just that I'm not bothered to do so, but feel free to disagree that maybe saying you do need to pull the newest characters for that game mode, but I personally don't play it, so therefore I can't say anything about it. Also, it could also be the fact that I'm not in Red Lotus yet, and maybe in that region pulling all the characters is necessary, but I don't believe that to be true. But in the end, what do I know, right? Right, if I am editing this correctly, in the background it should be footage of me clearing the current abyss with, in my opinion, relative ease, as well, I'm writing this after I got the footage, and I believe it's fine. I believe I beat it quite sufficiently. Anyways, but comparing this with Honkai Star Rail, especially as an F2P, is very difficult to clear MOC 12 if you don't have version 2 or higher DPSs. Unless you're Jingren, because for some fucking reason Hoyo keeps buffing him and only him. Like, please, I love Seele, it's like, buff her, she's dead, do something. I know buffs are coming up, but Jingren's been getting them consistently. It's like, it's not fair, man. Anyways, this difficulty is not impossible, of course, but it's not comparable with how Honkai Impact is, in my opinion. Now, with all that being said, this can be simplified into one single point, right? Is that I don't believe that it is fair to compare Honkai Impact with Honkai Star Rail, as the situation isn't too similar. But of course, this is just my opinion, and it could be and is very likely to be wrong. But hey, that's just an opinion, a Hoyo opinion, and that's all.